Narcissists don't look back on, say, do this. Opening with energy. How many of you have ever felt used, manipulated, or discarded by someone who only saw you as a tool for their own gain? How many of you have given your heart, your energy, your time, only to be left wondering what went wrong? Listen, I need you to understand something deep in your soul today. Narcissists don't look back once they've drained you of your value. Once they've gotten what they wanted, once they see you're no longer bending to their will, they don't turn around. They move on because they were never truly there for you in the first place. But here's the key. You are not the problem. They are. And the moment you recognize this, the moment you reclaim your power, is the moment you stop looking back too. Narcissists see people as resources, not relationships. They don't connect on a human level. They connect for control. They keep you around as long as you serve their purpose. The second you stop feeding their ego, you become irrelevant to them. That's not love. That's not friendship. That's exploitation. They rewrite the narrative. They'll twist the story so that they're always the hero and you're the villain. They will discard you and tell the world they were the ones who were wronged. But listen to me. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The truth will always reveal itself in time. You were not discarded, you were freed. It may hurt, it may feel like rejection, but what if I told you this was actually a gift? You were released from a cycle that was never meant to nurture you. Instead of chasing their approval, stand in the power of your own self-worth. The biggest revenge is indifference. They want to see you broken. They want to see you beg. They want to feel important enough that you need them. You know what hurts them the most? Moving on, thriving, becoming so unstoppable that their name doesn't even cross your mind. You deserve people who choose you, not use you. Stop looking back. Stop analyzing what went wrong. Stop waiting for closure from a person who was never truly invested in you. The right people will see your worth without you having to prove it. Cut the cord. No more mental real estate. They don't deserve space in your mind. Every time you replay the past, you're giving them power they don't deserve. Take back your energy. Invest in your growth. You hold the pen to your story now. Narcissists live in a cycle of seeking new supply, burning bridges, and never looking back. But you are different. You are not disposable. You are not a pawn in someone else's game. This is the chapter where you rise. This is where you stop waiting for them to turn around, because you are moving forward. So I ask you, are you ready to break free? Are you ready to step into a life where you are valued, respected, and loved the way you deserve? Then stop looking back. They won't, and that's okay, because your future is brighter than anything they could ever offer. Now go out there and own it. Narcissists see people as resources, not relationships. There are two types of people in this world: those who build real connections and those who see others as stepping stones. Narcissists, they fall into the second category. They don't form bonds, they form transactions. To them, every interaction is an exchange. Every relationship is an opportunity, and every person is either useful or disposable. They walk into a room scanning for value. Who can serve them? Who can elevate their status? Who can give them what they crave? Admiration, control, power. And the second they sense that someone no longer serves that purpose, they disengage, they detach, they move on. They don't build relationships based on trust, love, or authenticity. That's too deep, too vulnerable. They don't operate at that level. They operate on the level of extraction, extracting attention, validation, resources, energy. And when they're done, they don't hesitate, they don't reflect, they don't mourn, they just discard. Because to them, people are replaceable. There's always another source, another person they can manipulate, another stage they can stand on. That's why trying to appeal to their humanity doesn't work. You can cry, you can explain, you can pour your heart out, but it won't reach them. Because to reach someone, they have to be open, they have to care. And a narcissist doesn't care about connection, they care about control. And so You've got to see this for what it is, not as a reflection of your worth, not as a measure of your value, but as a sign of who they are. You were never truly seen by them. You were never truly valued by them. You were used. And that's a painful truth, but it's a freeing one. Because once you accept it, you stop fighting for their attention. You stop waiting for them to return. You stop looking for closure that will never come. Instead, you shift your focus to where it truly belongs, on yourself, on your growth, on your future. People will say, you start reclaiming your energy. You start investing in people who actually see you, who choose you, not because they need something from you, but because they value you. And when that happens, you stop feeling like you lost something. You realize they lost something. They lost access to someone real, someone who loved, someone who gave, someone who had substance. They may not recognize it. They may never admit it. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that you do. What matters is that you stand in the truth that you were never the problem. So don't waste your time analyzing what went wrong. Don't keep replaying the past, trying to figure out what you could have done differently. The answer is simple: nothing. Because their nature isn't something you can fix, change, or influence. That's why they never look back. Because they never really looked at you in the first place. They only saw what they could take. But now it's your time. Now you get to decide who has access to you. And that is power. That is freedom. They rewrite the narrative. A narcissist never leaves a situation without making themselves the hero. In their mind, they were the victim. They were wronged. They were misunderstood. They will rewrite history to fit their version of the story, and they will believe it with all their heart. It doesn't matter what really happened. It doesn't matter how much you gave, how much you sacrificed, how much you loved. The second you stop playing your part in their script, they turn you into the villain. They will twist your words. They will take your kindness and label it as weakness. They will take your boundaries and call them betrayal. They don't reflect. They don't take responsibility. They rewrite. And here's where most people get stuck. They want to defend themselves. They want to explain. They want the narcissist to see the truth, to acknowledge the reality of what happened. But that will never happen. Because in their mind, their version is the truth. And even if they know deep down that they're lying, they'll never admit it. Their ego won't allow it. So what do? You stop trying to prove your worth. You stop explaining yourself. You stop seeking validation from someone who has no intention of giving it to you. Because the real battle isn't with them, it's with you. It's with your need to be understood, your need to be seen, your need to make things right. But you can't make things right with someone who thrives on making things wrong. You have to be okay with walking away without closure. You have to be okay with knowing they'll paint you as the villain. You have to be okay with letting them think whatever they want. Because your truth isn't something that needs to be debated, it's something that stands. And when you stand firm in who you are, their lies lose their power. People who truly know you won't believe the narcissist version of events. And the ones who do, they were never meant for you anyway. What matters isn't the story they tell, it's the life you build after them. It's the fact that you're no longer living in a space where your reality is being manipulated, where your emotions are being twisted, where your worth is being questioned. You are free. And that freedom is worth more than any explanation, any justification, any battle for the last word. Because real power isn't found in proving yourself to someone who never valued you. It's found in knowing you never needed their approval in the first place. You were not discarded, you were freed. Let me tell you something powerful. What felt like rejection was actually redirection. What felt like loss was actually liberation. What felt like abandonment was actually an invitation to step into your next level. You were not discarded, you were freed. You've got to shift your mindset on this one, because right now you might be looking at the situation like you lost something. You might be feeling like you weren't good enough. Like if you had done things differently, maybe they would have stayed. Maybe they would have treated you better. Maybe they would have seen your worth. But listen to me. You didn't lose, you won. A narcissist doesn't leave because you weren't enough. They leave because you started waking up, because you started setting boundaries, because you stopped feeding their endless need for validation. And the second you stop playing by their rules, they discard you. And let me tell you something, that's the greatest gift they could have given you. Because now you're free. Free from the manipulation, free from the gaslighting, free from the cycle of always trying to prove yourself to someone who was never going to give you the love you deserved. You might not see it that way right now, and that's okay. The pain is real, the hurt is real. But here's what I need you to remember. Healing is coming, and when it does, you're going to look back and realize this wasn't a loss. It was a breakthrough. Because now you get to start living life for you. Now you get to reclaim your energy. Now you get to build relationships with people who actually appreciate you, not people who use you. But the first step, stop looking at their departure as something you need to grieve. Start seeing it as something you get to celebrate. Because when a narcissist leaves, they take their chaos with them. And that is freedom. Now you can breathe again. Now you can think clearly again. Now you can start focusing on your own growth, your own dreams, your own happiness, without the weight of their manipulation holding you down. They will never look back. And that's a good thing, because if they did, it wouldn't be to make things right. It would be to pull you back into their toxic game. So don't wait for them to return. Don't hope for an apology that will never come. Don't waste another second wishing they saw your worth. You see your worth. And that's all that matters now. So take this as your sign. Take this as your moment. Take this as the turning point where you stop mourning their absence and start celebrating your freedom. Because when they walked away, they thought they were leaving you behind. But what they really did was set you free to rise. The biggest revenge is indifference. Narcissists don't fear your anger. They don't fear your sadness. They don't fear your pain. You know what they fear? Your indifference. Because as long as you're emotional, as long as you're reacting, as long as you're thinking about them, they still have power over you. And that's what they crave the most. Power, control, relevance in your life. They don't care if you love them or hate them, as long as they still matter to you, as long as they still occupy space in your mind. But the second you go silent, the second you stop engaging, the second you move on without looking back, that's when they lose. That's when their game is over. And listen, I get it. It's tempting to want to prove a point. It's tempting to want to show them how much they hurt you, how much they lost. But let me tell you something. Your best revenge isn't showing them your pain. It's showing them your absence. Because nothing unsettles a narcissist more than being irrelevant. Nothing makes them spiral more than realizing they no longer have control over you. So don't waste your energy crafting the perfect message. Don't waste your time trying to make them understand. Don't waste another second hoping they feel regret. They won't. But what they will feel, the emptiness of your silence, the void of your absence, the weight of realizing they no longer have access to you. And while they may never admit it, while they may act like they don't care, trust me, they feel it. They always do. But by the time they do, you won't care anymore, because you'll be too busy living your life, too busy growing, too busy thriving, too busy stepping into the most powerful version of yourself. And that is the greatest victory of all. You deserve people who choose you, not use you. Let's get one thing straight. You were never too much. You were never too emotional. You were never too needy. You were never the problem. The problem was that you gave your heart to someone who only knew how to take. The problem was that you believed in someone who only believed in themselves. The problem was that you expected real love from someone who only knew how to manipulate. And now it's time to shift your focus. Now it's time to surround yourself with people who choose you, not because they need something from you, but because they genuinely care about you. Real love doesn't leave when you stop bending over backward. Real love doesn't disappear when you set boundaries. Real love doesn't make you feel like you have to earn your place in someone's life. You deserve friendships that feel safe. You deserve relationships that feel nurturing. You deserve people who make you feel seen, heard, and valued, not people who make you feel like you're walking on eggshells. And that starts with you. That starts with knowing your own worth so deeply that you never settle for anything less again. So from this moment forward, make a promise to yourself, a promise that you will no longer chase people who don't value you, a promise that you will no longer shrink yourself to fit into someone else's world, a promise that you will only give your energy to those who deserve it. Because the right people, they won't make you question your worth. They won't make you fight for their attention. They won't make you feel like you're easy to walk away from. The right people, they stay. And that is what you're stepping into now. A life where you are surrounded by love, that is real. Cut the cord, no more mental real estate. You have to understand something. Every time you think about them, every time you replay the past, every time you wonder what they're doing or if they'll ever regret losing you, you're still giving them space in your mind. And that's power they don't deserve. Because while you're sitting there thinking about them, they've already moved on. They're not losing sleep over you. They're not replaying memories. They're not reflecting on what went wrong. They're out there doing what they always do, finding their next source, moving on like nothing ever happened. And that's hard to accept, but it's the truth. Narcissists don't form deep emotional bonds the way you do. They don't sit in self-reflection wondering how they hurt people. They just keep going. So now it's your turn. It's your turn to stop looking back. It's your turn to reclaim your mind. It's your turn to break free from the mental loop that's been keeping you stuck. Because every time you think about them, you're feeding their energy. You're keeping them alive in your world. You're holding on to something that was never meant to last. And I know what you're thinking, but I need closure. Let me tell you something. Closure isn't something they're ever going to give you. Closure is something you create for yourself. Closure isn't about an apology. It isn't about getting them to admit what they did. It isn't about making them see your worth. Closure is when you decide right here, right now, that you are done, that you are free, that you are choosing yourself instead of them. And when you do that, when you truly cut the cord, something shifts. You start feeling lighter. You start feeling stronger. You start realizing just how much energy you are wasting on someone who is never worthy of it. Because let me tell you, your energy is valuable, your time is valuable, your mind is your kingdom. And if someone doesn't respect that, if someone doesn't honor that, they don't deserve access to you. So starting today, you're making a new rule. No more free rent in your mind. No more overanalyzing. No more hoping for closure. No more wondering if they'll ever regret losing you. Because the truth is, whether they do or not doesn't matter. What matters is that you are moving forward. You are reclaiming your power. You are stepping into a life where your energy goes to things that actually lift you up. And when that happens, you stop looking back, not because you don't care, but because you finally understand your worth. You hold the pen to your story now. For too long, you've been living in a story that wasn't written by you, a story where someone else dictated your worth, a story where you were constantly chasing, proving, bending, breaking just to be enough for someone who was never meant to be part of your future. But that story, it ends today because you hold the pen now. You decide what happens next. You decide who has access to you. You decide what kind of love, what kind of friendships, what kind of energy you allow into your life. And let me tell you, this next chapter, it's going to be the best one yet. Because now you're no longer playing small. Now you're no longer accepting less than you deserve. Now you're no longer waiting for someone else to validate your worth. You are writing a new story, a story where you wake up every day feeling strong, feeling empowered, feeling like you are finally living for yourself. And that doesn't mean the past didn't happen. It doesn't mean the pain wasn't real. But it does mean that the past no longer controls you. It means that the pain no longer defines you. It means that you are stepping into a future that is so much bigger, so much brighter, so much more fulfilling than anything you left behind. Because here's the thing, narcissists never look back. They never stop to think about what they lost. But you're not them. You're not wired that way. And that's what makes you powerful. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you unstoppable. Because while they are doomed to repeat the same toxic cycles over and over again, you are evolving. You are healing. You are growing. You are stepping into something greater than they will ever know. And one day when you look back, you won't see this as a story of loss. You'll see it as the moment everything changed. The moment you woke up, the moment you took your power back, the moment you finally realized that you were always enough. So go, write your story, live your life, step into your future, and never, never look back. Because the best is yet to come. This is your defining moment. This isn't just the end of a chapter, it's the beginning of your transformation. It's the moment where you stop chasing, stop questioning, stop giving your energy to someone who was never capable of truly valuing you. Because the truth is, narcissists don't look back. Not because you weren't enough, but because they were never capable of seeing your worth in the first place. And that's not your burden to carry. Your power isn't in proving your value to someone who refuses to see it. Your power is in knowing your worth and acting accordingly. It's in reclaiming your energy. It's in shifting your focus back to yourself, your healing, your growth, your future. No more waiting for closure. No more wishing they'd regret losing you. No more looking back at someone who was never meant to walk forward with you. Because your journey isn't behind you, it's ahead. Your best days, your biggest breakthroughs, your most fulfilling relationships, they are all waiting for you on the other side of this moment. So take the lesson, take the wisdom, take the strength you've gained from this experience and use it to fuel your next level. Use it to build the life you deserve. Use it to become so strong, so confident, so unstoppable that you never again question your worth. And when you do, when you fully step into your power, that's when you'll realize you were never discarded, you were set free. Now go, step into your greatness, step into your future, step into the life that was always meant for you, and never, never look back.